September 5th, 2024. This is the S&P 500 E-Futures Mini on the 2000 tick chart. So what the chart looked like today is kind of this range. It looked like it made almost two measured legs up, and a big flush down, consolidation area, and then kind of a choppy two legs up, another consolidation, looked like two legs down. So it was a very, very choppy, mixed day. There were 3 times economic data came out. One was at 5:15 Pacific Standard, which is right about here, right in this region. It didn't really look like it caused too much because it was already selling off. But then there was this gigantic spike at 5:30, which was the unemployment claims, and it caused this really large 16-point candle, which is insane. And then the last and final item was around 7 o'clock Pacific Standard, which is the ISM Services PMI, which is created this big spike, which is about 10-point candle. So it was kind of an interesting day. I didn't take any trades, unfortunately, and I did mark the setups that I thought were reasonably good trades, or just trades or setups that I saw. Overall, the volatility wasn't too bad. There was some trades there, maybe at the 21 EMA. Looks like there was a measured move here, and then a smaller measured move there. So I'm just going to go into the setups that I saw and not really go bar by bar because I don't have that much time today. So the pre-market, things were just kind of moving sideways. I'm not around in the pre-market to take trades. The first setup I saw was the second entry long. So I found this purple up channel after this candle closed. So I kind of drew this, and it looked like some kind of support. And in real time, this hasn't occurred yet. I saw this as support, and this top part looked like it was a pretty good resistance. I was playing with other resistances potentially up here, but this is the ultimate one that I settled with on this purple up channel. So you have a new high here, new high of day. It's also hitting against the pre-market high. You have a first entry long pullback. I thought the second entry long was setting up here. It's a rather nice candle. It's bouncing off the EMA and it's bouncing off this confirmed purple up channel. So I thought there was a trade here, at least for a quick scalp. Looks like it would have gotten filled and it would have worked. But it's also getting close to the 645. Not as a big impactful news, but it was the final services PMI. There's also another news item coming out of the Forex factory, which is kind of what I use to find news that's coming out. So this time, these red ones are really important. Orange ones may or may not move the market too much, and then the yellow ones aren't too. You don't really need to pay attention to those when you're trading. But definitely, you're going to see the red ones when the FOMC interest rate meetings come out, and also when Fed Chairman Powell gives this press conference, I think in a couple of weeks. So there's a second entry long here. I thought it was a possible trade. It breaks out of this purple up channel, just small spike, and then it comes back down, chops, it's the sideways consolidation. And then it breaks out. I couldn't really see a channel to fit really nicely for this price action as much as I tried. So I actually ended up drawing this yellow price action coming up. And actually this X shouldn't be there because this is a hunch that I saw something here and I wasn't really sure if there was a trade here or not, but let me just delete that. Prices consolidate, it breaks out and down below this yellow channel. It breaks below the EMA, so I'm not 100% sure that prices are going to move back down, but it did look like there was 2 clean legs up. It failed to make the measured move, but by the time it got all the way over to here, also when the economic data came out, I wasn't that confident that I was going to push back up anymore. And this is kind of where I saw another setup here. It's a new high. It's a first entry long pullback. Technically, you have a second entry long here, but it was kind of within this purple down channel, so I don't quite trust it all that much. But you could also see it as because definitely I saw a first entry long here. This one's very subtle, very close, but this is also, it's not technically it's an inside bar, but it's the same size. So it did close on the high. I didn't like that it was inside this purple down channel, so I called it an almost trade. Then you do get a higher low here, right here. But the higher low, although it engulfed this guy, I didn't really think it was worth marking or a trade because it does feel very far from the EMA, so there's enough room to move up. But after the break of this purple down channel, I'm expecting a test of the low. So the next couple of candles, I'm not sure of what the directional bias is going to be. I do think it's going to come back down and test the low of the purple, but that doesn't preclude the chance that it could make one push up, pull back, and then make another push up to the EMA. So it was definitely no trade because I honestly didn't know what it was going to do. Prices then continue moving up. This is actually where it sets up a rather decent trade that I thought. So up until this point, you had two clean legs up. It failed to make the measure move, but this attempt here did push higher than this one. So I'm thinking after this break, and whether you had a larger channel here or not, you could argue for sure there's a break here and then maybe a test of the high. But what really matters is I saw this as a break, kind of break here, testing the new high, and whether this is a clean break or not, it's one attempt up, and then it's about to make a second attempt. What I liked about this trade is it's one push up, pull back, second push up. This second push up looked like it failed, and I'm not thinking there's going to be another candle on this side to push up to here because it picked up one candle, then it closed very bearish, very strong. It engulfed this entire candle. So it looked like it went first entry long, second entry long, trapped a bunch of bulls, and then flushed down. And I'm thinking there's a trade here. If I were to take a trade, I'd probably enter it at the lows of these two candles. So I'd need the next candle to spike up, pick me up right here. And I think it would have, because it looked like it moved actually one tick even higher and then flushed down. But I probably would have had to have been quick with this entry. I had to sit through this and likely here would have gotten the exit. So I thought this is a possible trade. This yellow down channel is a lot bigger because I actually had a smaller channel this way. And then later I enlarged it. And I thought it was another possible trade here. This trade is even better because there's this break of this green down channel, tests the low, and it hits this sideways consolidation. So clearly it's moving sideways. You do have a new low, first entry short pullback. I like the second entry short, and I like that it looks like it's in a trading range. So you could argue it's one touch, two touch, three touch. So it's a potential triple test. I'm actually going to call it another triple test here. And it looked like after the break here, there's one attempt up, pullback, second attempt up, and then this could also be considered a lower high of these two attempts up. I like that this candle made a matching high, then flushed down strongly, and got an EMA rejection. So in this case, it looked like it would have worked. Go ahead and so it pushes down. It was a little confusing because as you can see, I had this gray channel drawn at one point. I didn't really trust it. All I could know for sure is there's a bearish bias, so sellers are selling this off. So I was working with this yellow down channel, working with this support. Now I'm going to go ahead and delete this because in the end, I don't think it really, I took it into consideration in real time, but now just to clean up the chart, I just went ahead and deleted it. It created another nice setup here. So clearly there's a new high, so it broke down. I didn't trust this as a support yet because I only have one touch confirmation. I did have a second trend line a little bit higher, so this could have been a failed breakout. And then it hits this resistance, which is confirmed now. So I trust this resistance more than I trust this support. And then later I dragged it down to here. But in real time, this didn't really matter to me because I wasn't taking trades off of here. Because if you're trying to take a trade off of this line, then you're probably going long. And I was thinking more short bias, so I was taking trades off of this line. This setup occurs, it's a new low, and it's also the new low of the day. This is the dotted line is the new low of the day, made first entry short, pullback, second entry short. I like this setup. I thought it was a possible trade because break of the green channel, first attempt down, push up, second attempt down. Also have an EMA rejection. Also it ticked one tick up, then it flushed down and closed very strongly at the low. The only way this could have been even better is if it actually ticked below this guy. But this is already a pretty strong indication that prices are continuing downwards. So I thought this was a possible trade. Then prices kind of chop sideways, no setup that I could see. And it kind of sets up a second entry short here. So this one is, it creates a new low. It's pushing up on this yellow, this orange up channel. It's the first break of this yellow down channel. So break could be a failed breakout. It's a new low here. It's a first entry short, pullback. This creates a second entry short here. It's a really good signal bar. I'm this was, it's a possible trade if you're more aggressive than me, but I didn't like the fact that this is kind of like a small candle, and this is also a small candle. It's about 9 ticks, relatively speaking, it's a small candle. It had a really strong close, but the EMA, I couldn't trust it. It was kind of a horizontal moving, flattening out, and it could be in a trading range. So I wasn't sure what I was looking at. I marked it, and I called it an almost trade, but I just didn't trust it because this is what you see in real time. Is it going to bounce up and test the highs after the break of this, or is it going to obey and kind of push down through into this yellow down channel? The thing holding me, I guess, hesitating was because I had it like this, and there's clearly a break here, but as you can see, the sell-off is failing to touch this side now. So it looks like selling momentum is slowing down. So although this is a good signal bar here, I'm not sure it's gonna, really push down here enough for me to feel comfortable taking a trade. Nevertheless, if you did take it, you'd have to kind of sit through this. It does move sideways for quite a bit. There is a new high here, first entry long, second entry long, but the second entry long, you only have a double touch right now. You don't have a triple test, so I couldn't really trust it. There was this push up, and I thought we were clearly in a trading range at this point, and it was like 1 touch, 2 touch, 3 touch, 4 touch. Clearly there's kind of resistance here. So it's a break of this green down channel, break of this green up channel, tests and makes a new high, comes back, and it creates a higher low here. This higher low is an almost trade. The reason being is there's no room to scalp out where you already have a confirmed 1 touch, 2 touch, 3 touch, triple test. It's bouncing from the bottom to the top, 2 more touches to the top, then it makes it successfully to the bottom, back to the top, 2 more touches to the top. So here it looks like there's some kind of bullish bias because prices are hanging out at the top half of this range more than they are at the bottom half. So here it felt dicey. So it's an almost trade to try to go short, even though it's a nice signal bar. There's no room to feel like comfortably to scalp out. It looked like it would have worked though, but it's just a little bit more risky in my opinion. Starts bouncing and it consolidates and it moves out. Break of this yellow up channel, tests the new high, pulls back, pushes up again. It kind of falls into this choppy sideways move, but I didn't really see a good second entry anywhere because it's floating above, below, above, break above, back below, above. And the EMA itself is kind of flattening out. So if it was kind of trending with it, like it started from up here all the way down, you could trust this sideways chop. But as you can see, it was already down here. Now it's kind of reaching back up. Maybe it's going to nosedive, or in this case, pull back up. So it's hard to see, so I didn't really see any setups. It pushes up on this big rally. Unfortunately, I couldn't see any entries here. Consolidates. I was thinking in a trading range, there's a failed breakout here. Visually, there's a new low, first entry short pullback, second entry short. The second entry short, though, in real time, it was hard for me to really trust this doji. Then when this big candle closes, this candle itself is 4 points, so it felt a little risky, and I was looking for maybe a potential lower high. And you don't really get a lower high, so it just kind of flushes down. So no setup, bounces. So you actually get a first entry long. Technically, you have a second entry long here and then a failure, but it's far from the EMA. It's kind of, well, I haven't really said much about it, but this was the pre-market low that I drew. It could be bouncing off this pre-market low, or it's going to keep pushing through. Hard to say. I needed the EMA to give me a little more confirmation because also the break of this yellow down channel has already tested its low. So you're thinking the downtrend potentially could have played out. It could reverse its way up and create like one big leg consolidation and another big leg. So to visualize what I'm talking about, I was thinking maybe there was something like this. Oops. I was thinking, is it possible that you made one big leg here and it's setting up for something like this? And I don't want to be going short into something that looks a little ambiguous. It flushes down though, creates a new low, first entry short, pushes all the way up. You get a second entry short way up here, but the signal bar is an inside bar, doesn't feel and look, very convincing. So it's hard to trust this. Then I'm looking for a lower high, and I don't see a lower high till you get to like way down here. By that time, the setup's already passed. And then this is the last 10 minutes that goes into the close. So you know how I saw the charts today? Of all the trades that I saw, I think these two that I asterisked were probably the best trades. Actually, asterisk 3. I think this trade was actually pretty good because it engulfed, and I think this trade was actually pretty good. I also marked this trade because it's very subtle. It pushed up one tick, then flushed through, but I didn't like the EMA cutting through the candles. So although I thought it was a decent trade, I like these two much better because this one, clearly EMA is holding. You have enough room to the bottom. This engulfed the signal bar previously, as well as this one. This one's like a really nice trade because it's break. One test down, you're looking for the second attempt down, pushes one tick up, and then flushes down, closes strongly. So these two were the trades to go. And this one's also pretty decent, and a couple of other almost trades. So kind of how I saw the charts today. And fortunately, I didn't take any. Kind of a little bit distracted today. So hopefully that was helpful.